In 2013, the Colorado House and Senate saw a barrage of bills in regards to gun control. These came in the heels of Sandy Hook school shootings and the Aurora theater shooting, while some of those bills were also written with past shootings in mind, such as Columbine. People were scared of more shootings, and people were taking action to hopefully prevent future shootings. The laws that were finally passed and the fallout from them have created a new media firestorm with both sides calling foul. There are two very distinct groups on the side of the issues. You have the gun control lobbyists, who are acting on behalf of citizens who want their cities, states, and countries to be safer. They want no more mass shootings, and they feel that there should be laws in order to do so. You have your pro-gun lobbyists who are acting on behalf of citizens who want to be able to protect their homes, families, and lives through legal gun ownership. The new laws. There are two distinct laws that are the major source of contention. The first one is House Bill 13-1229. The main sticking point in this one is universal background checks pursuant to the transfers, firearms including private transfers with several exceptions, new mental health screening reporting, and judicial appeals process for individuals restricted from acquiring or possessing firearms. The portion of the bill that has the pro-gun supporters up in arms is the universal background checks on all gun sales, including private transfers. The reason that this was put in is to prevent those who are unable to purchase or possess firearms from buying them from someone else, basically illegally. With a background check, this weeds out felons, those with mental health issues, and those convicted with domestic violence. They have a civil rights activist calling it foul because a person should be able to buy or sell guns however they please. But on the flip side of that is those who are felons and those that have mental health and domestic violence issues are most likely to commit crimes against others. However, more often than not, these guys are also not going to be the ones that follow the laws, current or new. This bill requires that a person wanting to sell a handgun to his next-door neighbor must go to a dealer to have a background check done prior to completion of the sale. Some argue that this may expose people who have questionable items in their backgrounds that they feel no longer apply to them. There is also a belief that those who are willing to use a gun to kill another person or persons, they will most likely not follow the law anyway. So some are asking, why are the bills aiming at restricting the rights of law-abiding citizens? The second bill is House Bill 13-1224. It prohibits the sale, transfer, or possession of large-capacity ammunition magazines, which is more than 15 rounds, with certain exceptions. And it requires identification markings on all large-capacity round magazines manufactured in Colorado after July 1st, 2013, which is when the bill takes effect. From M. Sears, 2013. Also part of the bill written by Fields and McCann and Buckner. This gun control supporters has true victory as they see this as a way to lessen the damage if another shooting occurs. If the criminal does not have access to high-capacity magazines, he would have to reload his weapon, which would be able to make him more vulnerable to law enforcement to take him out or down. However, if someone is planning on a mass shooting and wants to injure or kill as many people as possible, he probably didn't purchase his weapons or ammunition legally. For the criminals, I feel that the new laws don't have any effect on them whatsoever. These guys are going to do whatever they want and whenever they want it, no matter what laws are put into place. This has gun supporters stating that is why they need their guns and ammo. They must be allowed to protect themselves, their families, and their homes and from criminals. However, these types of criminals don't usually break into homes. They seek out large, populated places where there are a lot of people, such as shopping malls, schools, and theaters, just to name a few of these types of places. This begs pro-gun supporters to ask, why don't we have a more open carry or at least a conceal and carry policy? Maybe shooters wouldn't be so apt to consider mass shootings if they were aware that many of their potential targets could fight back. Gun control supporters will tell you that having regular citizens openly carry could cause more innocent lives to be taken, which I feel that is slightly blinded, because if you have taken a conceal and carry class, you are taught the certain safety features that go with being a safe gun owner and how to safely protect yourself without actually harming innocent people. There are quite a few people who think that only law enforcement officers should be allowed to carry. They're trying to use their gun properly and to not take innocent lives, rather than to randomly shoot at a shooter. Also, having another person armed may actually anger or entice a shooter to try and kill more people. The Second Amendment. You have many pro-gun supporters that are stating that these new laws are violating the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. The amendment says, Article 2, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Command 1986. This is what says that we are able to keep firearms and use them to keep the United States from being overrun by a tyrannical, authoritative, or dictatorial government. In 1789, when this was written, the U.S. was still reeling from the American Civil War. Great Britain's rule of the colonies and its uses of taxes and rules left a bitter taste in many of our founding fathers. The first politicians wanted to make sure that the ruling authority didn't take away the freedom of its country. In 2013, shortly after the passing of these two new laws, 68 county sheriffs of Colorado filed a lawsuit. They were challenging the law. They were saying it was in violation of the Second Amendment. They wanted it to be overturned and thrown out. The sheriffs argue in their complaint that the laws violate their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. In Pony 2013. They claimed that it would be almost impossible to abide by the laws. How would anyone know if someone privately sold a gun? Hence, the word private. Some even feel that the U.S. government is already compiling and using data of those who complete background checks so they could be aware of who has and who doesn't have guns. Ultimately, the laws were held up by the federal Supreme Court. In June of 2014, U.S. District Chief Judge Marcia Krager upheld Colorado's new gun control laws that mandated background checks on all gun sales and limited capacity of large ammunition magazines to more than 15. Kirk Mitchell and John Aguilar in the Denver Post, 2013. The reason why she held them up. The new gun laws do not take guns away from any of the citizens of Colorado. Background checks are only make sure that those who are restricted from purchasing or owning firearms do not get one. The Gun Control Act of 1968 prohibits certain persons from possessing firearms. All in all, I do believe that the new gun control laws that were passed in 2013, while highly restrictive and somewhat unfair to law-abiding citizens, are legal and do not violate the Second Amendment right. This will be an ongoing issue in our entire country and not just Colorado for many years to come.